Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hai, welcome back to my channel. Kali ini saya ingin berbagi cerita saat berkunjung ke Corning Museum of Glass Amerika Serikat. Corning merupakan perusahaan produsen kaca, keramik dan bahan terkait, terutama untuk aplikasi industri dan ilmiah dari Amerika Serikat. Ada apa di dalamnya? Kita lihat dulu ya.
Seru, kira-kira ada apa nih? Katanya handphone, iPhone, katanya dibuatnya di sini, katanya ya. Ada kayak show-nya di ruangan sih ada. Foto ini boleh nyaring.
Now keep a close eye on the glass. You just connect a hose onto the end of that pipe, and that hose will allow air to flow through it and inflate the glass. So she can step on a pedal, and that will start to inflate the glass for us. And this is something that we're using just because we have to wear masks. So if you were watching closely, you may have just seen that expand. It happens very quickly, but there is now an air bubble inside of that globe. So we can only get so much glass from the furnace with each collection. So we need to let this cool down, because this amount of glass will only make something small, like a little cup. And if Katie wants to make something larger, she needs more glass. So once that cools, it'll become rigid, stable, and it will allow us to collect more material on the end of the pipe. And that's just because there's more surface area. Now I can show you an animation on our screens so you can see what it looks like inside of our furnaces. This furnace holds 1,000 pounds of glass. We distribute that material using this wooden scoop tool called a block. Now these wood tools are soaked in water all the time. If they're not, the wood would just start on fire. But the water in that wood tool turns to steam, and then the glass rides on the layer of steam within that tool. So when we distribute the material evenly around that bubble, when we inflate the glass, it means that we'll have a really uniform thickness all the way around the piece when it's finished. So I can show you one of our new ones here. We haven't really started using this one. This is just newspaper. This is the Wall Street Journal. I can't really see the date, but June 26th of 2018. So we're always behind on our news. But that newspaper allows us to really contour the glass with the palm of our hand. So we love that tool. Very hot and very soft, so we can just work. Now, Katie's heated this up so she can drop the glass into a mold. And we have a series of molds, different shapes and sizes. Because the mold gives us texture on the surface of glass. Now, we have a view in the reheating furnace that you can see. The molds that we use, they're not for finishing. It's not like we blow the glass into the mold and come out with a complete thaw. We just have the texture on the surface. So it's still up to Katie to turn this into whatever she wants, a bowl, a pitcher, a vase. That's completely up to her. She can still make this into anything. Now, we can keep those ribs running vertically, but she's decided to twist now. She grabs the glass with a pair of shears, and just by turning the pipe and holding the glass, that texture twists right up around the surface. Now, that little bit that she has. The glass is always cooling when we're outside of the reheating furnace, so that's why we hang back and forth between the furnace constantly. And you'll see as we get further and further into the process, how we have to head back to that furnace more frequently. And it is because as the glass gets thinner, it will start to cool faster and faster. When the glass is very condensed and you get it fresh out of the furnace, it stays hot for a long period of time. But once it's been inflated, once we stretch it and it gets thinner, then it's going to cool more quickly. It's a little bit like if you have a spoonful of soup. That spoonful of soup cools faster than the whole bowl full of soup. So you got a nice big bowl, nice big texture, something for handmade glass. You work on breaking the glass, you work on the bottom of the piece first, and you transfer the glass to a secondary handle, you work on the top. Fused silica. Fused silica is a specialty glass that was invented here at Corning in the 1930s, and it doesn't melt until nearly 4,000 degrees. So behind that little window, we have our camera, and also right next to our camera, we have a fan that blows on the camera to make sure that it still doesn't get too hot from the ambient heat around the furnace. Top of the vessel, there you are. Pulling that glass down. Go back to its original shapes and settings. It's beautiful. Ruffle, what do you think? Isn't that exciting? You'll love that. It has to go through a cooling process called cooling. If we just let this sit out in the open air, it would cool too quickly. So, a little bit of water and a nice tuck this away into the pipe. We'll cool that down overnight. See if you can beautiful job. I don't want to leave around in the clouds.
Iya, apa namanya? Kayak dikasih air ya. Sebenarnya itu bisa dicermin sih. Dicermin terbalik. Iya. Ini jadi pohon. Jadi instalasi.
When the time came to load it on the car and on the train, they mixed the feeling of emotion in everyone.
It took 11 minutes to share and first mark the time. For example, open the book of the several